Our prediction for every head coach vacancy is coming your way today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Crabbs from Locked On Dolphins.
Hello.
We are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to issue a big thank you, shout out, and welcome to our everydayers. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate y'all being here very, very much.
Joe, happy Tuesday. Happy Victory Tuesday to the Houston Texans.
Oh, yes. Happy Victory Tuesday to the Texans.
Boom, the Steelers.
Took a little time, but it came together there in the fourth quarter.
Did you see somebody had a prop bet for 2 defensive touchdowns?
Oh, baby.
Houston Texans it was a $150 bet. They won $20,000 off a $150 bet.
And they both came in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? Yeah. You're thinking, nah, I just blew $150. And then the next thing you know, you didn't.
You blinked. And the first one happened so fast. It was like they came back from commercial, right? And then it's like,
yeah, it's like out of nowhere. Sheldon Rankins.
2 rapid L plays, you 3rd and 12, and just boom, touchdown.
Oh, man. Let's talk about some bumbling offenses, though, right? 2 drives from Houston, basically, is what you got.
Houston blitzed 4 times and terrorized Aaron Rodgers.
He seemed a little upset after the game.
He did, yeah. We'll see. It's a perfect segue into what we're doing today, which is we're exploring who takes what. Is the first thing we have to establish is right now there's 8 vacancies. There's some speculation. Mike Tomlin with the TV job. Is he going to leave and take the sabbatical year? Aaron, as upset as he was after the game, did give a strong vote of support to Mike Tomlin. So our objective here on the show, Joe, with 8 teams left, right? 8 teams left in the playoff field, 4 on each side.
Yes.
Yeah. Draft Dudes do math. Is to look at presumably none of the final 8 are going to undergo a change.
I think that's fair, right?
Right?
Has there ever been a coach? Fired at the divisional round?
It's Marty Schottenheimer.
Oh, okay.
Right, went 14-2 and then got fired.
Dodgers. Yeah.
The Dodgers.
Yeah.
I don't have anybody in the divisional round letting go of their coach. This is a spoiler alert to our content series here.
Me neither.
So let's go. Let's get into it a little bit. The openings that we have. What do you got?
Well, there's 8 that are established that are of no consequence. They're there. We'll certainly make the picks. But I do, Kyle. I do have a couple of additional. A couple of additional openings. I got Green Bay coming free. I got Pittsburgh coming free. I think the structural changes with Green Bay probably rub LaFleur the wrong way. I think he might take this opportunity to get out of there. Plus, I think some availability of other coaches may inspire Green Bay to maybe trade Mr. LaFleur. So I have some ideas there. And I do think the Steelers mutually part ways with Mike Tomlin. I think there's a Mike Tomlin.
So Mike Tomlin decides to leave and Pittsburgh doesn't twist his arm and say,
I think so.
Come on back. I think the Senior Bowl in 2 weeks. We need you down on the practice field watching the D linemen go through the drills at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah. I think the Ravens move away from Harbaugh maybe inspires them to also do that same thing.
Well, and this was kind of the year for Pittsburgh where they went for it, right? Like they broke a lot of norms.
They went
for it. And they had the same result other than they got the home playoff game. So I do not have Pittsburgh opening. And the reason why is I know that that's not a team decision. It's been reported time in and time out that that's a Mike Tomlin decision. I think Mike will probably think about it, but I think Mike Tomlin will be back in the saddle for Pittsburgh again next year. I do have Green Bay opening, though, just because of some of the complications of that and the coach that's available that could give them somebody that would make it worthwhile. And they don't have a first-round pick this year or next year. They traded him for Micah Parsons.
Yeah, they get a couple picks for LaFleur.
That's right. Right. Perks you up a little bit, right? So you have 10.
I do.
And those 10 are, I have them written down in order of like AFC by division and then NFC by division. So I'll do them and add Pittsburgh for you. It's Miami in the East, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland in the AFC North, the Tennessee Titans in the AFC South, the Las Vegas Raiders in the AFC West, New York Giants in the AFC East, the Green Bay Packers in the NFC North, the Atlanta Falcons in the NFC South, and the Arizona Cardinals in the NFC West. So every division has at least one coaching change.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to put Pittsburgh down, and then I'm like on my list that I have for mine, and I'm just going to put Mike Tomlin in it, and then like no change.
Okay.
That way, the same list.
Yeah.
Do you want to?
I want you to be the master of ceremonies.
Okay. So I want you to give me your favorite pairing, and then I subsequently will give you who I have that coach going to.
Okay.
So of all of these pairings, which one of the 10 vacancies do you consider to be your favorite?
I like most of them. Let me say that.
Well, I hope so, because you're handpicking them, right? Like,
right. Hey, let me just say this. Like, I come with no sources. I just went through the candidates and the openings and tried to figure out a puzzle that made some sense to me. I think my favorite one is the one that I have going to Green Bay. I have John Harbaugh going to the Green Bay Packers. And I think a lot of their motivation for what I believe is going to be a trade of LaFleur is knowing that they can get Harbaugh plus picks. And I think Harbaugh's got the right mindset and like demeanor for the smallest market in the NFL. And I think that Green Bay obviously is a team that's not really going to strip it down. I think they're going to want some proven established guy, and I think they get that in Harbaugh. So give me John Harbaugh to the Packers.
Well, this is not very fun because I also have John Harbaugh going to the Packers. So there's no discourse here.
Okay. Okay.
But on the same page as far as like Green Bay and some of the complications of a contract extension. Like, you could have Matt LaFleur, if you don't come to a contract extension in Green Bay, coach out 2026, but you're guaranteeing, like, he wants clarity too. And I think if you make him go into a contract year and coach out a contract year, I don't think that helps you like sustain your relationship with Matt LaFleur. So I know from the Green Bay side of things, it's like, well, just push comes to shove, let him coach it out. I would agree. But if there are teams that are willing to come and give you tangible draft capital, and you're willing to, if you're too far apart on an extension, that you're willing to let him coach out 2026, and you have John Harbaugh that's out here to make a move, you go out there and make the move, right?
Yes.
Now, if John Harbaugh, if Green Bay doesn't move, I think John Harbaugh, the odds favorite overwhelmingly right now, sounds like the New York Giants. So if you remove the galaxy brain element out of this, I would acknowledge my pick without the LaFleur stuff would be the Giants for John Harbaugh. Because it sounds like they're full court pressing. Joe Shane's willing to do whatever it takes because he knows he doesn't have the leg to stand on otherwise to recruit John Harbaugh to the Giants. So where does Matt LaFleur go?
So my answer to that is the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It goes going back to Tennessee.
Going back to Tennessee. I think about Tennessee as a spot where, you know, obviously you have a huge investment in Cam Ward as your number one overall pick. And I think you want to have him in mind when you make this decision. And I think you look at what LaFleur's been able to get out of course, Jordan Love, who's played at a really high level, Malik Willis as well. And that's got to be pretty attractive, especially for a team that, you know, does have a lot of assets at their disposal, could potentially move back in the first round and maybe even gain more draft capital. Just feels like the right type of team, if you will, to go get an established coach that has some, you know, time with the organization, and I think would make a lot of sense for their big investment at quarterback.
Do you have any? I want to ask you a question about that after break, and then I'll tell you where I have Matt LaFleur going.
So be sure to stick with us. If you've ever hired someone who looked good on paper but wasn't the right fit, you know how important that is. When you want candidates who truly match what you're looking for, trust Indeed sponsored jobs. Hiring? Well, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other sites. Indeed's sponsored jobs puts your post at the top of the page and helps reach the right candidates faster. If I needed someone that I needed to hire, I'd go straight to Indeed and be very specific about what I need. Real experience, not just a resume buzzword. Instead of struggling to get your job post seen, Indeed sponsored jobs helps your listing stand out and reach quality candidates faster. You can spend more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with less stress, less time, and more results using Indeed sponsored jobs. Listeners of this show get a $75 sponsored job credit to help give your job the premium placement it deserves at Indeed.com/LockedOnNFL. Just go to Indeed.com/LockedOnNFL right now and support the show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed. New year, new systems. This is the time when a lot of us take a look at the messier parts of how we run our business and think there has to be a better way. And there is. Streamlining your communications is one of the quickest upgrades you can make. And that's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Quo, the smarter way to run your business communications. Because when your team is reachable, organized, and communicating in one place, you're not just working cleaner, you're creating more opportunities to connect with customers. I love how simple Quo makes everything. Your whole team can call and text from one shared business number so nothing gets missed. Everyone sees the full conversation threads, which makes replies faster and more personal, and it works right from your phone or computer, and you can even keep your existing number. It's no surprise that Quo is #1 rated business phone system on G2, trusted by more than 90,000 businesses from solo operators to growing teams. So make this the year where no opportunity and no customer slips away. Try Quo for free, plus get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to Quo.com/LockedOnNFL. That's QUO.com/LockedOnNFL. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers.
What kind of compensation do you think gets this done?
Oh, for a trade?
Yes, for LaFleur, right? Because everybody points to Sean Payton, but that was a 1 and a pick swap of a 2 and a 3, but the 1 was a 29, and Payton and his resume versus Matt LaFleur's.
Yeah.
I know, like, a lot of the Green Bay conglomerate is like, if it's not a 1, don't talk to us.
Well, I can get you a high 2. How
Right.
about that? With Tennessee, 2 and maybe some change, a 2 and a 4, 2 and a 5, something like that. I think pretty closely resembles the Sean Payton trade.
Yeah, and I do think it's worth. You probably want to try to argue for a team that's trading for compensation to be a little bit below the Sean Payton threshold, right? I mean, I think Matt has more leverage going into a contract year than Payton did. Well, I mean, Payton had leverage too because he was retired, right? It's like, I want to come out, but if I don't like my options, I'm just going to re-retire, right? But I think the Saints had right to ask a little bit more for Sean Payton than what the Packers do for Matt LaFleur. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, he's a Super Bowl winning coach, right?
Yeah. I had Matt LaFleur going to the Miami Dolphins by trade. So, and same thing. Tennessee picking in the top 5, Miami picking an 11. Green Bay doesn't have a 1. Like, it'd be very easy for Miami to say, okay, we'll give you 11, you give us 20. And like, there's your compensation package, right? But Green Bay doesn't have that. So it does make it much more complicated where it is those teams that have the early 2s. The thing that Miami, I think, has going for them as much as anything else is they have 3 3s at their disposal. So like, they have some play room with like top 100 picks if they wanted to try to leverage. Now, whether that involves a pick swap back or something coming back, who knows? But I have
full circle, baby. Full circle. You wouldn't rank this guy again above Sean Payton. Now he's going to be your head coach.
Well, I happen to know that the Dolphins just hired John Eric Sullivan, who was a 20-plus year Packers executive, to be the general manager of the football team, and they're undergoing a head coaching search. And That's why. That's part of the reason why.
I think it makes a lot of sense, man.
So who do you let's tie this together. Who do you have going to the Miami Dolphins?
Welcome to Miami, your new head coach, Robert Saleh.
Oh, I would love it. There's some Dolphins fans that do not like this idea. I would love it.
Yeah, I don't want that to happen, but I think it could. But look, here's the reality, man. You got a lot of dominoes to fall here, and I certainly was mindful of the potential Green Bay connections with the GM that they hired, and there's a lot of different.
Saleh was a consultant on the Packers staff last year when he got let go.
So there you go. There's a little bit of a thing there, but here's where I'm at with this. The Dolphins just went through the Mike McDaniel era, of course, offensive minded, and I think the reality is their decision at head coach, they got to deal with Drake May and Josh Allen, and I think it would make a lot of sense for that defensive acumen of Robert Saleh to come in, a guy with head coaching experience. That I think, I don't know, he kind of just resembles toughness to me. And I feel like that's something that would go a long way in Miami. And
you always overcorrect a little bit, right?
A little bit, but I don't know that I think it'd be a good hire. You know what I mean? Like, Saleh's confused the hell or really given Josh Allen some fits through the years. And, obviously we didn't see as much of or any of him against Drake May, like this version of him. But I think you look at what he's done with San Francisco and overcoming some of the talent and feel really good about him. And I think he's been around a little bit. He's got good connections, so I think it'd be a good hire. That's my prediction. Yeah,
being able to tie into the Shanahan tree with offensive coaches, that's a concern, right? Is with a defensive coach like that, and you saw what it looked like in New York. And to tie this full circle, I have Robert Saleh going to Tennessee, so we just kind of have flip-flopped. But AFC South and kind of getting some ammunition to really load up with what Jacksonville's doing with Campanile and what Houston's doing with D'Amico. Right, this is a very defensive-oriented division right now. And if I'm the Titans, having Saleh gives me a chance to maybe tap into the offensive staff that he's got connections to help Cam Ward. Does Mike McDaniel get a job? Like, would Saleh bring Mike McDaniel to be those? I know he's interviewing for the head coaching job in Tennessee. But those are the kinds of conversations that I would have where I would kind of try to go for the culture, defense, compete within your division, cake and eat it too type fit with Robert Saleh.
Do you wonder about potentially Mike LaFleur coming with him to maybe be the offensive coordinator? I know that happened with the Jets, but
yeah, I think it was a great idea. I think the more time and separation you get, the more you just look at it and say, yeah, it's just New York and they picked the wrong guy at quarterback, right?
Yeah, sure. Both of those things are a problem. The Jets and not having the right quarterback.
Right. So, yes, I think that should very much be in play. But Robert Saleh is one of my favorite head coach candidates on the market right now. And not just because they won in the wild card round, which I know is everybody's favorite thing to do, is if your team loses or if your defense gives up more than 20 points in the wild card round, the playoff game, you just cross their name off the list and say, not that guy for head coach, right? Like, the whole body of work counts.
Yeah.
I have no change for Pittsburgh. Who do you have going to Pittsburgh? So I have Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh.
Welcome to the Pittsburgh Steelers, Matt Nagy.
Oh,
yeah. The guy that Andy Reid has called the greatest coaching candidate for a head coaching job that he's ever been around. This is also a guy that, they went to the playoffs twice in Chicago, had a 12-4 season without quarterback play, right? With Mitch Trubisky, this guy's double doink, right? There's been a little bit of success, and I think, things can go south quickly in certain spots. I think the Steelers will get somebody offensive minded and that has head coaching experience. And he feels like the type of candidate that would resound well with Pittsburgh, given, that he does have that track record, but also I think there's going to be a big endorsement from Andy Reid. And there is a big endorsement for Andy Reid, and I think that'll loom large for Pittsburgh.
Yeah. And I certainly think if they're going to make that, if they're going to have to undertake that change and go for a coaching search, the fit in Pittsburgh feels like it's a lot of these teams are trying to establish a culture teams that have cultures established, like your criteria and your candidate list, I think looks a little different, right?
Yeah.
And I certainly think that's applicable with Pittsburgh of all the teams that we're talking about here.
Yeah. All right, more to do. We got so many more teams that
No,
we're going to tell you.
You got 6 more. We got 6 more teams to get to.
We'll tell you who their new head coach is here next, folks. Be sure to stick with us. Let's be real. No one starts a business for the joy of calculating tax withholdings or managing payroll spreadsheets. That's where Gusto comes in to take the stress out of payroll, benefits, and HR so you can focus on running your business and supporting your team. Gusto is the all-in-one remote-friendly payroll and HR platform that makes managing your team simple, transparent, and fast. Whether you're hiring, onboarding, or paying employees, Gusto helps you do it all from one place without the hassle or hidden fees. You get unlimited payroll runs for one monthly price, which means no surprise changes or charges at the end of the month. And Gusto's automated tools like offer letters, onboarding materials, and direct deposits will save you hours every week. And you'll love knowing that you can reach certified HR experts anytime that you need something. It'll give you that real peace of mind. So try Gusto today at gusto.com/LockedOnNFL and get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. That's right, 3 months of free payroll at gusto.com/LockedOnNFL. One more time, that's gusto.com/LockedOnNFL. Folks, the NFL playoffs are here, and FanDuel is officially in playoff mode every game day during the NFL playoffs. FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. So every game day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts that you can apply to the bets you like most. You can open your profit boost pack first thing on game day and see what boosts you want to apply. And the boost lets you lean into your game day instincts, whether you're backing momentum, defense, quarterback play, or coaching. It's going to make every play feel bigger, and the boosts make your bets feel that way too. You make your picks, then apply your profit boost to go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day.
So we have, both of us have John Harbaugh going to the Green Bay Packers. You have Matt LaFleur getting traded to the Tennessee Titans. I have Matt LaFleur getting traded to the Miami Dolphins. We flip-flopped Robert Saleh as the answer for the other team in that criteria. And I have Mike Tomlin staying in Pittsburgh. You have Mike Tomlin moving on and Matt Nagy going to Pittsburgh. Do you have Mike Tomlin going to a different team, or is he just out of the loop?
No, he's got a new team.
Okay, so why don't you tell me who the new team is for Mike Tomlin?
Mike Tomlin, you are the new head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Yeah, man.
Get a quarterback now, huh?
Yeah, we got to. Well,
I can't get in a position to pick one, so let me jump to the team that's got the pick to get one.
Right. So, is this? Are we just assuming? Is it Mendoza number 1 to the Raiders?
Yeah.
Is that's it? Done. Okay.
Right.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
It's got to be right. This guy's freaking balling, man.
He's playing exceptionally well. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So I think that helps, but also they did hire Pete Carroll. That's something that really did happen. And I think you get everything you thought you were going to get in Pete Carroll and Mike Tomlin, who's like 40 years younger, maybe not 40, but a lot of years younger. I think that Brady and Spytek will appreciate the resume and experience, the culture ability. Obviously got to nail the OC hire, but I think I have a hard time thinking that Brady and Spytek are going to hire some hotshot coordinator. You know what I mean? I feel like they're going to want a guy. And Mike Tomlin's availability, I think, will be quite the catch for them.
I agree with everything you said, which is why I gave them Matt Nagy.
Okay. All right.
So another team in which we have flip-flop, but offensive-minded coach with a strong endorsement, prior head coaching experience, trying to bring within the division, right? There's a lot of familiarity with Nagy being in Kansas City. That was kind of the school of thought for me with the Raiders. I kicked around the idea of Nagy going to Tennessee, but I ultimately settled on him getting a chance to start and get a fresh start as they try to get the hire right now that they've acquired the asset to get the quarterback that they so desperately need in Las Vegas. I'm going to give you one.
Okay.
Since I've been following your coattails and we've just been flip-flopping.
I know. It's like, please go first.
I have I'll go to the AFC North and the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
I thought long and hard about Robert Saleh getting the call here.
Yeah.
But obviously I have Saleh going to the Titans. I went Jesse Minter, defense coordinator of the Los Angeles Chargers, the lone coordinator of a team that lost this weekend. That's defense had a good showing. They gave up 16 points to New England. The connection there where he was obviously has worked for both Harbaughs between Baltimore and then Michigan, then back to Baltimore and now to Los Angeles with Jim. Just feel like that's, and I know that they're kind of focused on breathing some life into Lamar and what the season was like for him and knowing that they're getting into a really important window for him. But it was kind of the same thing as Pittsburgh for me, that even though I didn't have Mike Tomlin with a change, that's a team with an established culture that you're trying to find the right coach to fit, and a guy that's got familiarity with it was important for me.
I like it. Do you struggle with what was the hardest part of that connecting those dots for you? Because the Ravens were one that it felt like I really had the urgency to go offense on this one.
I do not disagree, but they're just I have a really hard time seeing them. I feel like it would be a mistake. Like, what are you going to do? You hire Cliff Kingsbury? Or can you just hire Cliff Kingsbury to be your offensive coordinator?
Well, how about I tell you who I picked for the Ravens head coach?
Is it Cliff Kingsbury?
It's not.
Okay, go ahead.
It is Kevin Stefanski. Offensive-minded, tight ends, right? Like, I think there's some structural things here with their personnel that kind of makes sense.
Okay.
Obviously, some familiarity within the division, I think, will matter a ton. And I think people generally look at Kevin Stefanski as a good coach in a bad situation. I think that you can get a good coach in a good situation here. And, there's always that Baltimore, Cleveland, like spitefulness that I think exists. And I don't know, I kind of feel like Baltimore might take advantage of the opportunity. So Minter feels good. In fact, I thought he coached really well in that playoff game as well. I just didn't have any offense. And so the familiarity piece there's got to be really good. But this is such a big hire for Baltimore because this is your guy to like get whatever you can out of Lamar Jackson here.
Yes, I don't disagree.
So it's like it felt like I had to go offense there.
They've had 3 head coaches in franchise history, right? Like this hire is very important to the back 9 of Lamar Jackson's career, or whether that's the back 6 or the back 8, whatever, right? Like however long that window is, that is a big piece of the puzzle. I don't disagree. I would just have a hard time that the process of what has worked in Baltimore being something that they leaned away from to scratch that itch. So Cleveland. Actually, I'll give you who I had Kevin Stefanski going to, which was the New York Giants. They feel like they're really in on experienced head coach. Obviously, they're on the full court press for John Harbaugh. Before that, they've already had the interview with Stefanski and had a ton of work done there. A lot of the reporting seems to indicate that whoever ends up not getting, or if Atlanta and the Giants are hypothetically right now the leaders in the real world for John Harbaugh, whichever one they don't get would fall into Kevin Stefanski as kind of like the other well-respected, experienced head coach. So I put Stefanski in New York with the Giants after we both hypothetically opened up Green Bay.
So should I give you my choice?
Give me your pick for the Giants now. Yes.
We had very similar thought processes. We just have different human beings that are going to fit the criteria. Welcome to New Jersey, Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy's only interviewed with 2 teams, right? Or had requested Titans and Giants. So I didn't feel like there was a big demand for him across the league, but you kind of laid it out there. The Giants, I think, are going to want some of that experience here. And you talked about them being in the Harbaugh. What is the big saying right now that like Harbaugh and McCarthy basically have the exact same resume? So if you can't get Harbaugh, who I have going to Green Bay, all right, here's your pivot to kind of get something very similar. And, certainly Jaxson Dart weighs heavily in this choice, and Mike McCarthy is going to be the guy.
So that's going to reset the deck here for us because I do not have Mike McCarthy getting a job in this cycle.
All right.
I have the Cleveland Browns hiring Mike McDaniel, though, a offensive coach named Mike.
Me too.
All right. Yeah. Great thing alike, right?
Yeah, man.
If you want to get a little bit of enthusiasm and what Cleveland showed a lot of promise with last year with some of the run game stuff, and Mike McDaniel, that's kind of right up his alley, right? So I think he'll have enough interest between the 4 head coaching interviews that he's got in line between the Titans, Falcons, Browns, and Ravens. I think there will be enough interest for Mike that I would guess the offensive coach background is going to be in demand. So I gave the Browns Mike McDaniel.
Everything you said, and I think this is also your ticket to keeping Jim Schwartz. I mean, come on. Mike doesn't want to have to deal with defense. You say, Jim Schwartz, thank you for being here. Here's a raise. You're the assistant head coach, defensive coordinator, and Mike McDaniel will handle the offense.
Yep.
Please continue.
Yep. Who do you have going to Arizona? We have 2 left. It's Arizona and Atlanta.
In the most, I don't even know what adjective I'm looking for, but in the weirdest of career arcs, welcome back, Vance Joseph. Now you're the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. I think it's a tough job. It used to be a tough job to fill. I think Bidwell's not a great owner. You got a lot to do here, but you do have some defensive investments that you just invested in. Vance Joseph, obviously, terrific defensive coordinator for Denver, familiarity with Arizona. And I, with respect to Vance Joseph, I don't know that he's going to have a ton of options, and I don't know that the Arizona Cardinals are going to have a ton of options. Feels like a good fit.
Yeah. I also went defense. I went with Jeff Hafley.
Okay.
Who I didn't, and I know the Cardinals have the interview with Vance Joseph. I just don't know how that whole, like, we were here and it didn't work out well. And I'm like, are we going to come back? What other offers is Vance going to get? It's hard for me. So Jeff Hafley's a name that's got a bunch of buzz. The Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator, has 4 years of experience at the college level with Boston College, has been with Green Bay the last 2 years. I think you could probably do some similar-ish stuff with the pieces, like what Hafley likes to do defensively. So I thought that was kind of like a good scheme fit, and then the coaching experience helped without the question marks of, well, how'd it go last time you were here? That comes with Vance Joseph.
So we got one more, right, Atlanta?
Yes, the Atlanta Falcons, who land Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator of the Seattle Seahawks, was my choice for the Atlanta Falcons.
This is why I have Jeff Hafley going.
Oh,
Boston
really?
College, Matt Ryan. Let's do it. And I think there's actually, I think Jeff Hafley's defensive ideologies kind of meshes well with a very unique Falcons group of defensive personnel. So I like that marriage as well. So Jeff Hafley to Atlanta.
Yeah, I think Clint Kubiak is. I really like him to get a job this year out of this group, just because the name Kubiak, right? The connections that he has, kind of the come ups with New Orleans last year with some limited personnel, and then Seattle this year and what they did for Sam Darnold. So I would not be surprised if Atlanta, if the Harbaugh thing creates a domino effect that prevents them from getting an accomplished name, that they don't go with an offensive play caller to kind of help pull Michael Penix up as they move forward. That's going to do it for us here on the show. Kyle Crabbs, Joe Marino. We appreciate you guys checking the show. Make it a great rest of your day. We'll be back to talk to you all again tomorrow.